everyone, and welcome to my channel. This video is part of my end of the year content. I'm going to do a lot of videos wrapping up 2025 and looking forward to 2026 in the next couple of weeks. And if you don't want to miss out on that, feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you here. And in this video, we are going to talk about my reading goals and reading plans for 2026. Now, as I did in the last couple of years, I think I want to do again 5 new to me authors I want to try this year, and then 5 series I want to marathon read this year. I feel like 5 is a good number. It usually is something that I can do in a year without too much pressure, and it helps me to keep track of kind of like reading goals that I've had for a very long time, but that get easily pushed to the side by just reading the next new shiny thing. So I'm using this to really remind me of stuff that I have been meaning to read for a while. And we're going to start out with the authors I want to read. So I have 5 authors, and I have chosen one book for each author that I want to read in 2026. So this first one is already very intimidating, and that is Alexandre Dumas. I want to read The Count of Monte Cristo. Now, this is an author that we obviously all know. I think everyone has heard of The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo. I have seen like movie versions as well, but I've never actually read the books. And I do like to try to catch up on some classics, and especially also some bigger, like more intimidating classics. So for example, I have also read some Victor Hugo in the past, and yeah, we're gonna try this one. I don't know how it will go, but I am somewhat excited to give it a try. I have heard many people say that this is actually a really, really fun book for a classic, so I am totally going by that and hope for the best. Then next up, I want to read a fantasy author that I have heard mentioned so many times and just never picked up myself, and that is Guy Gabriel Kay. This is an author who seems to be writing a lot of standalone fantasies as well, and it just has that feel to me, like when I hear talk about his books, that it is more of this like classic fantasy, you know? So I definitely want to give it a try, and the book that I think I'm gonna read is Tigana. Don't quite know how to say that. I think there's also one with a lion in the title. That one is also interesting to me. So I will see which one I have like easiest access to, and I think that is Tigana, and just start there. I can't really tell you what this book is about. I like to go into my books blind, so we'll see about that. Next up, I have an author where I have heard so much talk about their books that I feel like I've already read them, and that usually keeps me away from actually reading the books because I'm scared that I won't be surprised or that my expectations are too high and then I just won't like it. I also have this feeling deep inside me that this might be too close to R.F. Kuang, and I am struggling to read R.F. Kuang, but I still want to give it a go. And especially because I have access to one book through my Libby app, and that is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. And I know that a lot of my friends have wanted me to try M.L. Wong for a while, so you'll get it. You'll get it. You can watch it live unfolding. And I hope it will be good. I really hope I will love this author because they are so beloved. The next one, again, is one of those books that was everywhere and I got so intimidated by it. I don't know how it will go. Like, this one could go either way. I could love it, I could hate it. I have no idea. But again, I have it available on Libby currently, so I have been eyeing it, and I am also really interested in the other books by the author, but I always just started with this one. And so I'm talking about Bunny by Mona Awad. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I love weird horror and sometimes I don't get it. So this really is like a 50-50 chance. But we're gonna give it a try and I will document it for the channel. And yeah, we'll just see. We'll see what happens. I definitely want to start reading Mona Awad. All of her books sound cool. And the fifth author I want to try this year is again more in a classic direction. It's not like a really classic, but it feels more like it. And that is Gloria Naylor, and I want to read Mama Day. Now, this is again an author I have heard quite a lot about in the recent years. It's one of those authors that I feel like is not discussed regularly on BookTube. And I'm just really curious to see whether I will like this book. So I think this might go more into a sci-fi direction. I'm actually not quite sure, but I definitely do want to try it. And I also already have my eye on a potential buddy read with my friend Clio from the channel Bemused Bookworm. So I think this one might be the first one I pick up from the list. We'll see. Okay, so these are the 5 new to me authors I want to try in 2026. Now, for each book I just mentioned, I will do a complete reading vlog where I take you along on my journey of reading these books. I have done this in all of the previous years as well, so if you want to go through the playlist, I will link it down below and you can check out all of the books that I read in this little series. So next up, we are going to the series I want to marathon read, and again, I have 5 here to discuss with you. Now, this cat hair. Now, this was so hard to narrow down. I actually had such a hard time to make this decision because my list of series to read that I just keep like going, like whenever a series I'm interested in is finished, I'll add it to the list. And I think this list has over 40 books on it, or like 40 series. So narrowing it down to 5 to like prioritize next year, it was very hard, but these are the 5 that made the cut. So we're starting out with an oldie but a goodie because I have been reading The Realm of the Elderlings in the last couple of years, and I'm now at the moment where I need to read The Rainwild Chronicles by Robin Hobb. Now, this is 4 books, and I think originally it was supposed to be a trilogy, but then they split the last book into 2. This is a series that I have kind of mixed feelings about because originally, before I started reading The Realm of the Elderlings, Lifeship series and this one were the ones I was technically more interested in, but now since I started reading it and loving the Fitz and the Fool and their relationship so much, obviously I do prefer the Fitz books. And I've also heard that the Rainwild Chronicles is the worst like series within the Realm of the Elderlings. So we'll see how it goes. I'm a bit scared, but I hope it will be good. So in this one, we follow a part of the world where dragons have returned and people have to kind of deal with it and kind of protect them and work with them, I guess. We'll see. Next up, we have The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. I think this is more of a dark fantasy story that has some horror elements, and you will see that this is something I'm very much interested in. And in this one, I think we follow a guy who's kind of like detective, judge, and executioner all in one go, and we kind of follow along on his journey. We have the kind of perspective of his apprentice or something like that. So I am intrigued to see whether I like the series as much as some of my friends. And also Richard Swan is now writing kind of a spin-off series for that. So I want to be ready. I want to have read this one to then eventually read the spin-off when that one is finished as well. Next, we have a series that I think will have some heavier themes, but it might also be a little bit more lighthearted. I don't know. I don't know. It is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. Now, this is a trilogy, but then there's also kind of a prequel book, and I hope to read all of those. I have read one Juno Dawson book before, and that was a Christmas book, but it had like very heavy themes, so I didn't exactly love it because that's not what I look for in my holiday reads. However, this series sounds like it's right up my alley, and I have some friends who love it, and I just want to be in the know, you know? So I'm very excited to read this series, and I think in this one we follow some witches in Britain. Now, going back to the fantasy series with some horror elements, we have the Five Penalties series by Marina J. Lowstetter, and the first book is The Helm of Midnight. This book, when I saw the cover of the first book, I was immediately hooked and I wanted to read it, and I think now it has been completed and I can't wait to get into it. I don't know what this is actually really about. It's just really the vibe that drew me in, so I want to go in blind and I hope I will love it. And last but not least, this series, I had such a hard time choosing. I was really struggling, so I made a little poll on Clio's Discord and I let people choose the last series I read. And now I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The one that won was kind of the one I was least excited about of the three options that I gave. However, I also had a feeling that this one would win. So I have mixed feelings about it. Like, obviously I want to read this series, but I still feel like I wanted to read the other two series I had in that poll more, which makes no sense. It makes no sense, but we're going with this one now because the people have spoken. And that is the Indian Lake Trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones. Now, I know that my friend Jess from the channel Fit for Gaming, she is probably like celebrating right now watching this video because she loves Stephen Graham Jones so much. I've only read one of his books, the Mannequin one, and I had a good time with that. So I always wanted to read the rest, and I guess now we're making the commitment to read this series. And this one, we follow a main character who is obsessed with horror movies, and then kind of like a horror movie situation is starting in her town, I think. So we'll see. I don't know if this will be the right kind of horror for me, but we'll give it a good old try. As I said, the people have spoken. We're going to do it. Now, again, for all of this series, I will do separate complete series reading vlogs. So you can go on the journey with me, discover this series together. Again, I will link the playlist if you want to check out the previous series that I have done for this little project. I have done a couple of years now, so there is a good list. And yeah, these are my reading goals for this year, or next year rather. I would love to hear what are some reading plans that you have for 2026. Have you already figured out some of the books you want to read, or do you do like fun challenges or anything like that? Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, that really helps me out. And yeah, that's it from me. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.